Welcome to Texas Penal Code 25.03, Interference with Child Custody, State and Federal Laws. You can find this printout in our private group under Files, number 4, State and Federal Laws. Texas Family Code, Section 152.102, Definitions. By definition, a child means an individual who has not attained 18 years of age. Child custody determination means a judgment, decree, or other order of the court providing for legal custody, physical custody, or visitation with respect to a child. Notice visitation in bold print, underline. So when police ask who has child custody, remember what child custody determination means: visitation with respect to a child. The definition for legal custody means the managing conservatorship of the child. A lot of parents here share joint managing conservatorship of a child or children. So if you are a sole conservator or joint managing conservator, that's what the definition means. The definition meaning you have legal custody of your child, even as a joint managing conservator. We just talked about child custody determination's definition. Visitation means the possession of or access to a child, meaning you have legal custody of that child during your possessory time. Section 153.001 of the Texas Family Code states, assert that children will have frequent and continuing contact with parents who have shown the ability to act in the best interest of the child. The court has already rendered you orders. They have already stated that it's in the best interest of the child that you follow that visitation and access schedule. Section 153.002, Best Interest of the Child. The best interest of the child shall always be the primary consideration of the court in determining the issues of conservatorship and possession of and access to the child, which equals visitation. Section 153.073, Rights of parents at all times. Unless limited by the court order, a parent appointed as a conservator of a child has at all times the right to receive information from the other conservator of the child concerning health, education, welfare of the child. To attend school activities, including school lunches, performances, and field trips. Section 153.074, Rights and duties during periods of possession. Unless limited by the court order, a parent appointed as a conservator of the child has the following rights and duties during the period that parent has possession of the child. The duty to care, control, protection, and reasonable discipline of the child. Remember, during your possessory time, you have the right to protect your child at all times. Remember what child custody determination was defined as? Texas Penal Code, Section 25.03, Interference with Child Custody. A person commits an offense if the person takes or retains a child younger than 18 years of age, when the person knows that the person's taking or retention violates the express term of a judgment or order, including a temporary order of a court disposing of the child's custody. I'd also like to include that legislative intent is how the law is written. It's not supposed to be interpreted or given an opinion. The law states person, any persons, mother, grandmother, custodial, non-custodial, mother, father, any persons. We have heard that law enforcement officers state that this is only when a non-custodial parent fails to return the child. That is absolutely incorrect. Interference with child custody is a state jail felony, up to 2 years in a state jail facility. Our group doesn't advocate to make parents felons or to throw them in jail, but simply turn over the child as the court order has already deemed in the best interest of the child. As we roll into what a missing child is, remember what your rights and duties during periods of possession are. Unless limited by a court, a parent appointed as a conservator of a child has the following rights and duties during the period that parent has possession of the child. You have the duty for care, control, and protection. Remember that. The Texas Code of Criminal Procedure 63.001 defines what a missing child is. A child means the person under 18 years of age. Missing child means a child whose whereabouts are unknown to the child's legal custodian. Please refer back to the beginning of this program where we talked about what the definition of legal custody is. The circumstances of whose absences indicate that the child did not voluntarily leave the care and control of the custodian, and the taking of the child was not authorized by law. The child was taken or retained in violation to the terms of a court order for possession of or access to the child. Note that in the Code of Criminal Procedure 63.001, when it defines what a missing child is, it doesn't state that a child cannot be missing if they are with their mother or with their father. But it does state that the child was taken or retained in violation to the terms of a court order for possession of or access to the child. Shall is the most important word here in the Code of Criminal Procedure, Section 63.009, Law Enforcement Requirements on receiving reports of a missing child or missing person. They shall. If the subject of the report is a child or person other than a child or person described by Subdivision 1, start an investigation with due diligence in order to determine the present location of the child or person, which is often called a welfare check. Immediately, but not later than 2 hours after receiving the report, enter the name of the child or person into the clearinghouse. The Texas Missing Persons Clearinghouse is run by the Texas Department of Public Safety. I'd like to reiterate that nowhere have you seen where it states that a parent cannot file a missing persons report. It is your duty to control and protect your child at all costs. Nowhere does it state that if the child's with mom or dad, that the child cannot be missing. Texas Department of Public Safety Missing Persons Clearinghouse also defines what a missing child is. Means a person under 18 years of age whose whereabouts are unknown to the child's legal custodian, and the circumstances whose absences indicate the child did not voluntarily leave the care and control of the custodian, and the taking was not authorized by law. The child was taken or retained in violation to the terms of the court order for possession of or access to the child. Under Texas law, there's no waiting period before a record of a missing person or a missing child can be filed. The law requires that law enforcement agencies immediately enter a record of a missing child into the National Crime Information Center, also called the NCIC. This is also stated in Article 63.009 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, Law Enforcement Requirements. Federal Law, 34 U.S.C. 11292, Definitions. By federal law, the term missing child means any individual less than 18 years of age whose whereabouts are unknown to the individual's parent. The term parent includes legal guardian or other individual who may lawfully exercise parental rights with respect to a child. 41307, reporting requirements for missing children and state requirements for missing children. Federal reporting requirements for missing children. Each federal, state, and local law enforcement agency shall report each case of a missing child under the age of 21 reported to such agencies to the National Crime Information Center of the Department of Justice. The Attorney General may establish guidelines for collection of such reports, including procedures for carrying out the purpose of this section. This federal law states why the Code of Criminal Procedure 63.009 law enforcement requirements when taking a missing child report exist. State requirements for reporting missing children. Ensure that no law enforcement agency within the state establishes or maintains any policy that requires an observance of any waiting period before accepting a missing child or unidentified person's report. Missing child's report is entered within 2 hours of receipt into the state law enforcement system, which is the Texas Clearinghouse and the National Crime Information Center, NCIC. We'd like to thank you for watching, and we hope you were able to educate yourself on the state and federal laws pertaining to interference with child custody and missing child's report.